The 4-2-1-3 is one of the best attacking formations in FC25, so it is no wonder we are seeing more and more players run this formation. I've been playing around with this formation a lot, and I can confidently now say that I've got the best 4-2-1-3 custom tactics to help you guys score more goals in your games. Let's get into it. As always, guys, if this video does help you out, please be sure to leave a like on the video. It really goes a long way and helps me out. In return, as always, here's the tactics code on screen down below. Getting into the custom tactics, starting with the build-up style, I'm running this unbalanced. The reason I'm starting to stray away from short passing a little bit is with the most recent patch, there's not a lot of ways to score, and I think the best answer to all the ways that they've patched to score is to get more movement in your formation, and short passing does hinder that a bit because of how much players come short. So balanced, I think, is a really strong option right now. As for the defensive approach, I'm very much of the opinion this is completely personal preference. If you don't like a high line, run 50. If you do like a high line, I'm currently running 85 and it works really well. The reason I run 85 and such a high line is that, again, with there being so few ways to effectively score in this game, I think by having a high line that forces the opponent to kind of act quickly at the back, it forces mistakes out of them, so you can get those free goals where they're trying to turn with a defender and they lose it. They're trying to play a safe pass and the game just does a rubbish pass for them. It forces those mistakes out of the opponent, so you kind of get a few of the things that go against you back by forcing them out of the opponent. So I think the high line's really effective, but if it costs you too much in your games and you can just see that it's costing you too much, just run 50. In terms of the team shape, without the ball, it's this 4-2-1-3 shape where you've got your dedicated back four and then you've got two anchors in midfield sitting in front of that defence, and then you've got kind of the blatant attacking force sitting up top ready to counter. It's not the strongest off of the ball with the way that I'm running this. However, I think it becomes stronger defensively when you start utilising it as a press. Because as you can see here, when we have the ball, it's almost like a 2-4-1-3, where these wing-backs push up alongside the central defensive midfielders. So that's almost like your back four. And then you've almost got like two sweepers in behind in your two centre-backs. It's a really hard shape for the opponent to break down, because when that possession turns over, you've got a cam that supports on the defence and can kind of sit in between the two central defensive midfielders, and you've got your two wing-backs that act like a left mid and right mid. So you've almost got this line of five for the opponent to get out of the press from. So if you press well in this game, this setup will serve you extremely well. If you run it on more of a balanced setup, I can't say that it will defend as good as it does with a press. But if you feel like you're really good without having to press, by all means still give it a try, but I really do think this is like a presser's dream, this one. Getting into the player roles, starting with the striker, they are an advanced forward and attack. So it's basically, so we've got a dedicated striker occupying those central areas, making dangerous runs, but also dropping off if need be. It just helps them link in with the play, but also make use of the space that's open if it's open to actually run into it. I just think it's the best of both worlds. Attackers, so they're not drifting too far out wide, because as you can see here, on both wingers, we've got inside forward, so they're tucking in a bit anyway, so we don't need a striker to be anywhere other than in the middle. Obviously, the elephant in the room, I've got Sam Kerr at left wing when she can't play left wing, hence the exclamation mark on her. She just has a lot of qualities that I like in a left winger, and she works there really well, and I don't find her being out of position to be an issue, but it also means I can run a two-striker formation as well, so something like a 4-2-2. I've actually got a really good 4-2-2 on the channel. I'll link that in the description down below, but the quality she offers at left wing is excellent, and it does just mean I can switch to something like a 4-2-2. So that's why I'm running her there. The finesse plus on as a right footer. Lots of things that I like for a left winger to have. As far as the right winger goes, they are also an inside forward and balanced. It's just so they tuck in, offer some defensive support, and it just makes the link-up play a lot easier. For a central attacking midfielder, I'm running Playmaker. They're really going to be pulling the strings in this formation, linking in the wing-backs, the CDMs, the wingers, the striker. They're really the glue in this formation. So it's really important you have someone with good passing, good shooting, decent pace, good on the ball, a really rounded player. This writing card's really nice at cam, and running it on balance just means they're not pushing too far up. And more so than pushing too far up, it's also just so they're not too far out of position. I like my cam to really stick to the cam position. So both of our central defensive midfielders are on holding, defend. We're playing a very aggressive press with this, and as you've probably noticed in the right back and left back, they are on wing back as well. So it's really important we just have that anchor in the midfield, a bit of more defensive stability, and with them on holding, it does just mean that our left back and right back when they do push up, because they are on wing back, you get this line of 4, which makes the press really, really effective. So, speaking of that press, right back and left back, wing back, balanced. I don't want to go over the top and run something like attacking wing back on these, because otherwise at that point, you've kind of got no extra benefit on the attack, but you're more exposed on the defense. Wing back works absolutely perfectly. Now, if you struggle on the defense, you could absolutely run this on full back balanced, but for me, that might be something worth doing if you don't play the high line. If you like the high line, absolutely run with wing back and get that line of 4 to really, really effectively press the opponent. Just make sure you got really fast players in these positions, because they're going to be doing a lot of legwork. You don't want them to be slower. Like, I wouldn't be using a Trent for this setup. I know a lot of people are really enjoying Trent this year, but for how much you're demanding them to run with this setup, he's going to get caught out. So make sure you got people that have good stamina but really, really have good pace to get up and down the pitch quickly. Both centre-backs, as always, probably never really going to stray from this. Defender, defend, no nonsense, high line. They're going to get up anyway. We don't need them pushing up anymore. And then for the goalkeeper, something that is my absolute go-to now is sweeper keeper. I think it's really effective. They don't do anything silly, but they don't kind of stop you from pulling them out either. They really collect any loose balls. I think it really, really is effective on this year's game. As we get into some of the goals that I scored with this formation, and to give you guys more of an idea of how to play with it, what you can really see is just how many options you have on the attack with this formation. It really, really is probably the best attacking setup that I've played with this year. I really enjoyed a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow that I tried, but it had absolutely no defensive stability whatsoever. So I didn't end up making a video on it because I just felt like it was so top heavy, it was kind of pointless. Whereas this formation, if you're on the ball defensively, absolutely you can keep people from scoring, but you just get so many options on the attack. The way you get that kind of midfield forward, the way the right back and left back push up as wing backs is phenomenal. And I just love where they take up. I just love what they do positionally. The way they position themselves when we're on the ball enables you to link in the wingers and the cam and the DMs as you can send the ball through it. There's just so much going on. And I will say, I think in your first couple of games with the formation, you might not do very well. You might lose a game, draw a game. I certainly did when I was first trying it. However, once I got a sense of the positions players take up and where the passes are, I'm absolutely flying on the attack with this. And I'm not the best defender in the world. I generally play a pressing game to make up for my lack of defensive ability on this game. But my word, on the attack, like, I'll happily concede 2 or 3 because even post-patch, this formation has so much about it on the attack set up this way that you're just going to score goals. It doesn't matter if the opponent scores, you're just confident in yourself using this, you're going to score more. And that is a really, really good boosting factor to be going into these competitive games online with, just to know that it doesn't matter if they score. I'm not going to lose my head if I go 1 or 2 down, because I just know I'm going to outscore the opponent with this setup. And that is the confidence I go into games with this 4-2-1-3. It is so good on the attack, way better than it was last year, and it had a place last year. But this year, I can really see why so many people are gravitating towards it. I haven't seen anyone set it up quite the way I have, where the wing backs are quite offensive, but it really works. It's like a 2-4-1-3 on the ball, but a 4-2-1-3 off the ball. I just absolutely love it, and I urge you guys to give it a go as well. As always, guys, if you've got any questions about the formation, tactics, or anything else, just leave a comment down below and I'll get straight back to you. And if the video does help, please be sure to check out my custom tactics playlist, which is linked in the description below for you guys. But as always, guys, if you did make it this far in the video, I really appreciate your time. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.